The letter A is the first letter of the modern English alphabet, and the third most common letter in everyday use, losing its place to E in large part due to its rise in popularity during the reign of Lord Markiplier Farquaad III. However, this mysterious little triangle with legs has quite the rich history, and it has led to many important questions, such as, where did it come from? The origins of the letter A can be traced back to around 1850 BCE, specifically from the Phoenician alphabet with the word Aleph. Aleph is a Western Semitic word that refers to an ox, which is a horse with the head of an ox and the body of an ox. According to dictionary.com, the letter served as something known as a glottal stop in the Phoenician language, and some theories suggest the letter was intended to honor the ox for its importance in agriculture and the black market heroin trade. This theory is largely contested, however, due to the fact that the letter A doesn't even look anything like an ox. Honestly, I don't know where they even came up with this. By the 8th century BCE, the ancient Greeks had developed their own language and its own respective alphabet, which utilized characters and vowel sounds from the Phoenician lexicon, including the letter A, which they took anyway, despite it having no real purpose in the Greek language. However, the Greeks couldn't be bothered to simply give back the letter they so rudely stole, so they went ahead and changed its entire meaning so it would actually be useful in their language. To do this, they simply turned it sideways. Thus, the letter Alpha was born, and with it, the personal identity of your friend Tyler from high school. And so, the humble origins of the letter A is finally revealed. A centerpiece of the Phoenician language, it was adopted by the Greeks and later the Romans, who further developed it into the modern English letter we have today. But A's story doesn't end there. Oh no. You see, the letter A wasn't satisfied with just being a part of the three major powers in antiquity. It was jealous of living in the shadows of the wiser and more popular E, who had retained its status as the hot, sexy letter that everyone used all the time. Eventually, A's jealousy grew too powerful, and in an act of defiance and self-righteous greed, it used the elemental makeup of the letter E to create a homunculus clone of itself, which backfired horrifically to create the abomination known as the Latin sound AE. A lives on today as one of the most popular letters in the English language, featured in such words as apple, cat, and Azerbaijan. To ensure that E remembers its place, A made sure to put itself at the very front of the alphabet and placed the letters B, C, and D behind it as a buffer to prevent an assassination and subsequent political uprising. A now lives in constant fear that the three letters it has assigned to guard itself from E will fall one day and lead to its own violent downfall. This brief history still leaves many questions unanswered, however, and as the letter only grows in popularity, given the rise of slang and the constant evolution of human language, one might wonder whether the letter is something to be concerned about when exposing their kids to modern words. This leads into the next important question about the letter A. Is the letter A appropriate for kids? You may be thinking to yourself, wow, with such a rich history and so much tragic lore behind it, the letter A sure seems scary. I'm not sure I want it around my kids. This concern is common among many who are anticipating parenthood or concerned with what their child is exposed to in their daily lives. To form an accurate understanding of the risks and benefits of the letter A in your child's linguistic development, let's go over a few anecdotes about the letter. First of all, the letter A is incredibly versatile, as it can make not one, not two, but three phonetic sounds in English. You may think this makes it a two-faced liar of a letter that can't be trusted, and you'd be right. However, that leads me to my next point. It also has my wife and child in its attic tied to a chair, and it is in my best interest to release this video if I ever want to see them again. Conversely, the letter A is not without its risks. While the letter can appear innocent on the surface, it has the concerning tendency to appear in words that are largely considered taboo among family-friendly audiences. For instance, A appears not only in the words alcohol and marijuana, both substances not recommended for consumption by children, but it also appears in such vulgar terms as asshole, anus, and damn. Given its largely unpredictable nature and its overall lack of any concern for human rights as evident by the incident in 1987 which resulted in the death of approximately 15,496 people, A is difficult to recommend for anyone below the age of 18 and should be introduced with only extreme parental guidance. Legacy. A's legacy in popular culture is nearly impossible to overstate, as it has featured prominently in many famous works of fiction, such as the 1980s TV show The A-Team, and has even enjoyed several short stints as the renowned letter of the day on the ongoing children's program Sesame Street. While its past is steeped in controversy, A is undoubtedly a pinnacle of American popular culture, and should this status ever be questioned, A will be sure to find you and personally remove you itself. Overall, the letter A has a lot of functional uses, and while it may be mixed in terms of critical reception, with some calling it the pointy one with the line in the middle or an etymological colonizer, it still remains its place in the English language as a primary component of human speech patterns, and inscriptions in things such as books and late-night depression-induced Discord messages. All things considered, the letter A gets a solid 9.5 out of 10 for me. It's an incredibly useful letter, but it loses points for being a little bit of a silly goose. If you learned something valuable from this video and you'd like to see more, please like and subscribe and reach out to me on Twitter. I also stream on Twitch at Clockwork Avenger. I'm trying out streaming on Mondays now, but you can usually find me there on Wednesdays and Fridays at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Have a great day, and remember, glory to the Almighty E.